Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Beez. We will explain about our title is broadcasting. This is our group members. The first one is Mazlin Jasmi binti Mazbihan. The second one is Fatina Arfa binti Muhammad Amran. The third one is Azima binti Zainal Abidin. And the fourth one is me Nur Aiza binti Makzam. Abstract. The communication is an act of communicating or delivering information. It is known as a process of exchanging information. Broadcasting is a branch of communication where it involves the use of video and audio content on a variety of platforms. This paper represents the implementation of a broadcasting network model using ESP software. The output shows the PC and the router are able to ping each other. Introduction. Definition of broadcasting is a process of creating audio and video program content, then distributing it to the large-scale audience through radio, television, and internet media. Broadcasting can be divided into two: radio broadcasting and television broadcasting. For the radio broadcasting is a type that uses radio wave to send transmission to the audience that are listening to the transmission through radio. For the television broadcasting, the distribution of audio and video content to the audio and video content to the audience through any of visual mass communication medium, usually using electromagnetic radiation.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Azima binti Zainal Abidin. For literature review, radio and television are two different methods of transmission. Radio broadcasts audio and video content to a wide audience via radio wave. For digital audio broadcasting, or DAB, is a digital broadcast signal that currently carries a multiplex of many digital services. Digital video broadcasting, or DVB, is a set of worldwide open standard for digital television that is widely used in Europe. Satellite TV, DVB, DVB-C, DVB-T, and handheld terminal are all covered by the DVB-H. Each of these standards has a layer physical that is tailored to the transmission channel in use.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Mazlin Jasmi and I will explain the methodology of our assignment. This is how you do the demonstration for broadcasting in network by using ENSP software. So as you can see here, I have already set up the topology, and now with the device that we use, which are router and PC, and here I am doing the connection to all of the devices. Then I label the IP address that we use in each devices. For example, in the first router I use 192.168.3.3, and the second router we use 192.168.3 and .5. And we also did the gateway of the switch and the IP address of each PC. After connecting all the PC switches and routers, select all the device and right click and click start. The device will be successfully turned on when the bubbles on the connections turn green. Then we have to assign the respective IP address for all PC, also with their subnet mask and gateway. For example, for the first PC, I use IP address 192.168.2.5 and the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and the gateway will be the gateway that we had labeled on the switch. And then we have to do that for all the remaining 3 PCs. Then, to ensure that the IP address has been configured properly, we have to click the command tab and the screen will resemble a US prompt. In the prompt, type ipconfig and the prompt will display all the IP addresses that we assign to the IP address, subnet mask and gateway. So the next step is to configure the interfaces of the gateway and router. Since interfaces GE0/000 are connected to the switches, the interface are turned up from each router. Display IP interface brief is used to show the status of interfaces to make sure the IP address has been configured correctly. So to configure the configuration of the interfaces, use system view and key in the interfaces of the connection and type in the IP address of the gateway. And then we do the same for the second router, which is also connected to the interface G0/000 and with the IP address of the second gateway, which is 192.168.4.5 with the subnet mask 24. Then we have to do the router configuration since both routers are connected at the same interface, which is E0/0/1, in which IP address of both routers have been assigned to their interfaces respectively with the command listed below. The command for the first router is system view the interfaces which the routers are connected, intgi0/0/1, and the IP address of the router, which is 192.168.3.3 and the subnet mask 24, and then quit, and then to confirm the IP address that we have assigned, we type in display IP interface brief, and then if it is correct, we type quit, and to save the configuration we just type in save and Y, which is yes. Then we will do the same configuration to the second router with its respective IP address, which is 192.168.3.5 and the subnet mask 24. At this point, after configuring the PCs, routers and interfaces are complete, PC1 to PC2 and PC3 to PC4 can be pinged. However, the ping between PC1 to PC3 is not successful. Therefore, static routing is used to configure the routers. Below are the commands used for each router. For the first router is system, and type in the IP route static, which is hop address 192.168.4.0 with its subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and the IP address of the router 192.168.3.5, which is the IP address of the router that is connected to the first router. And then we'll do the same to the second router, but the IP route static will be 192.168.2.0 and its subnet mask and the IP address of the first router. And that is all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatina Afa binti Muhammad Amran, and I will present my part, result and discussion for our assignment broadcasting. Okay, for the result, the router and PC already configured, and this is the router that I display the IP interface space to see the connection for GE000 and GE001 to see the physical protocol is up or down. It's same to the router 2. PC1, it shows successful ping from PC1 to PC2. Same goes to PC3 to PC4. It is because PC1 to PC2 share the same network address in order to be able to communicate with each other. The same way to PC3 to PC4 share another network address. The network address is formed by the bitwise AND operation between both the IP address and subnet mask. The two figures show the result of pinging the router to each PC. The right side is the result shows successful ping from R2 to PC4, and the left side is result shows successful ping from the R1 to PC2. Moreover, PC1 and PC2 share the same gateway, which is 192.168.2.3, and the PC3 and PC4 share another gateway, which is 192.168.4.5. After ping the PC1 to PC2 and PC3 to PC4, we try to ping the PC3 to PC1, but unfortunately the result show destination host unreachable. It is because the PC3 can ping the PC4 but not PC1 and PC2. This happened because each router does not share the same network. Therefore, to access the pinging every device, static routing is used to configure the router. However, PC3 is not able to ping PC2 until routing table being configured. Therefore, static routing is used to define an exit point from a router when no other routes are available or necessary. It is used for networks that require one or two routers. The figures show the result of the routing table for R1 and R2. Finally, the result shows successful connected in PC and port after commanding the routing table for R1 and R2. This figure shows successful ping from PC1 to PC3. In discussion, after completing the simulation, we know that when incorrectly configuring the interface GE000 or GE001 on the router with a different IP, the PCs will not be able to ping each other. When enter command display IP interface brief, it shows the configuring for the router, but some of the physical and protocol on the router are up and other are down. This happens because the router which is up is the one that is used, while the router that is down is not in use. The IP address has two versions, which is IPv4 and IPv6. In our demonstration, we use IPv4 and use 32-bit for addressing. The IP address is the logic address assigned by the network, and it also can be auto-assigned. In our assignment, subnet mask is important when analyzing the IP address because it determines everything about the address such as the network, number host peak, number of hosts, and the broadcast address. The gateway is also significant for the device to be connected properly.
In conclusion, this research paper investigates broadcasting by using ENSP software to create a topology made up of PCs, router, and switch. To explain how broadcasting works in networking, the devices are configured with their IP addresses and interface, along with their gateway. Next, to review various IP network fundamentals such as IP address, LAN, gateway, routing, ping, and service. In this paper, we show the importance of ELAC operation for the training of students for network simulation by building simple simulation. That's all from us. Thank you.